ask an AI to give me $100, it might go rob a bank because it doesn't know that robbing a bank, stealing the money it is out of sync with this idea, this moral model that you and I possess. And if I tell it, well, don't rob a bank, okay, then it will rob an orphanage. And you say, well, don't steal, okay, then it sets up a Ponzi scheme. It can do anything simply to achieve the goal because it's misaligned. That's the simple version. The stronger version, the harder version, is one where the AI just doesn't want to do what you ask it to do. And that's where this problem of misalignment becomes a much bigger concern when we start to look at artificial general intelligence and artificial superintelligence. If these technologies were to ever be realized and we have not solved the alignment problem, then the concern is this technology might literally be an extinction level event for us, for humanity.
That's what most people are afraid of.
That's what most people should be afraid of. It for decades before, if not hundreds of years, this was science fiction. This was storytelling, but we are actually seeing it now. Companies want to build artificial general intelligence. They want to build artificial superintelligence. And yet there's a recognition amongst all researchers involved that the alignment problem is unsolved. And many people are concerned that it is unsolvable, at least with the current architectures that we have for AI. There's a somewhat scary statistic out there that says about 10 to 20% of researchers or people in the field believe that if we can achieve ASI, artificial superintelligence, and that ASI may and will be misaligned and therefore lead to some cataclysmic event. 10 to 20%. Now, that is a unsatisfactorily large number. If I were to say to you that the next plane you get, there's a 1 in 10, a 1 in 100 chance, not even 1 in 100, let's say I say 1 in 10,000 chance that the next plane you get on will fall out of the sky, you would never fly again, because there are 100,000 planes that fly around the world every day. A 1 in 10,000 chance means, on average, 10 planes would fall out of the sky every day. By the time that second plane fell out of the sky, every government around the world would ground every plane. It would come to a screeching halt. And that is a 1 in 10,000 chance. So when you have a 10 to 20% of researchers who are in the field saying this is likely, we should expect our governments to act accordingly and say, well, this is not something that we can take a risk on. So we need to either pause, halt, or at least apply more responsibility to how we do this type of research. We need to treat it the same way we treat nuclear weapons, where we have international treaties, where we have labs that people can examine. But right now, what we have are a bunch of labs in the United States, a bunch of labs in China, all working towards this, not necessarily sharing information. Yes, they're academic journals and they're going to conferences and they're publishing, but we don't know what they're not talking about. We don't know what they're not publishing. We don't know what the state of the art is. And they're all working towards this technology, but a lot of society and certainly people in Congress and people in government are not paying any attention to this, and that's dangerous.
And that's unfortunate, because I've seen the technologies that the Chinese are using, and they actually have humanoid robots who are programmed, who could do flips, run fast, 40 miles an hour, and basically, if you went military, you'd be fighting the robot.
All right, and these things are learning, right? Because they're again, all of these machines now, their brains are now artificial intelligence. They're being trained, which means that, you know, for decades past, automation would mean you get one machine that does one thing. You're right. Look at the way that motor vehicles are assembled. You know, you have the robotic arm and it moves around and everything needs to be in exactly the right position or the whole thing falls apart. This is a complete 180. Now we have machines that are able to operate in a dynamic world where things are moving, where things are changing, because they're learning. So they're not fixed to any one thing. The same way that a military might end up using these, it's the same way companies will end up using these. Because now it makes sense, once the costs are reasonable, to bring in these autonomous or these humanoid systems, because you can now have them do any type of job because they're able to learn how to perform them and then do them well. And ultimately. If not with the technology today, then it's certainly the technology in 5 years or the technology in 10 years. They're not slowing down the development, it's increasing. So this is absolutely a concern that we should have.
Well, I think we do have a concern because with my coming up, we competed with the calculators.
Yeah.
And what we found out about that competition, that I got tired. And the calculator had batteries, and it kept going.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing with the robots.
Yeah.
And the AI. So, what do you think is most important that we should share with the young people in this movement with the AI? Because they are going to be, it's in their community already. They just don't realize it, but they have to compete with them.
They will have to compete. I believe, and I guess let's try to be optimistic. Recognize right from the get-go that at the very least we're entering a world where we will have these automated systems, these AI systems, as in the worst case assistants and tools, and they should learn and understand how their particular job or in their particular field, these tools can be used to enhance their effectiveness, enhance their whatever it is that their job entails. So this is something that they should absolutely be doing. We'd like to think, certainly, in my classroom and in others, where the teachers are already thinking like this, and where it makes sense, we're introducing artificial intelligence. We're showing them how this can augment their tasks, and this is to ensure that they're prepared when they leave and they go into industry. Like, this is what the world will look like. And then they have to be dynamic. They have to be able to pivot, because even as we're introducing it as instructors, as teachers, it's moving much faster than even we can keep up with. So the onus does fall to the young folks, the ones being born into this, the ones transitioning from academia into industry. They do need to be aware and to keep abreast of what's happening, perhaps a lot more than the rest of us, so that they can adapt and they can pivot as quickly as they need to. But again, I think broadly this is a societal question. It's not the responsibility of any individual. We have to collectively make a determination of what this technology means for us, what we are willing to delegate to it, what we're willing to hand over, and what that means for the rest of us. So it's a much harder, much larger conversation.
Okay, so yeah, it is a much longer conversation because we're in the middle of the ocean and we're trying to swim because that's how much AI is on us.
Right.
So how do you feel about the competition, because you are trying to get our community to hear what you're saying?
Right.
So how do you feel about your competition running for Congress?
It is not my intention to besmirch anyone. I can only say this. When I look at the race, when I'm listening to other candidates speak at candidate forums, it's hard for me to know that if I were to show you the transcript of a conversation that they may have, or a question and a series of answers, it would be hard for you to tell if this was a conversation that happened last week or a conversation that happened 20 years ago. Because they're still focused on the same set of problems, and they're still bringing the same type of solutions. So in a broad sense, there seems to be no innovation. But putting that aside, there seems to be no vision. No one is having a conversation at any level in this race. No other candidate is talking about how society is about to change. People have asked me, why am I running? And, they expect me to say, well, I felt a calling, or I want to help my fellow man. And all of those things are there. But the reason I'm running is I am afraid. I am fearful that as we see our society transition brought on by artificial intelligence, we're going to see the same inaction that Congress has shown for the last 30 years when it comes to technological development. And we're going to see ignorance filling the void and trying to cope with something so complicated that even people who are in the field have a hard time understanding and keeping up. The stakes are too large. In any other situation, at any other time, I would not be in this race. I am running because we are going to need scientists. We're going to need computer scientists in Congress to regulate and legislate for this technology. This has nothing to do with my own feel or need to be in the halls of Congress. This was never something that I had intended to do. I love being a professor. I love being an academic. I love the job that I have now, and I assumed I would have been doing this until the day I retire. 18, 20 months ago, I decided, looking at the landscape, looking out, I saw the trajectory of this technology, and I recognized then that we needed something had to change. Something had to change. We needed people who would be able to legislate. And when I look today, I realize just how short-sighted I was even then, because of the rate of change of this technology. So how I see the competition, I think they're unprepared. I think they're well-intentioned, but they're not ready for this problem. We're going to need not just me, but a cadre of new representatives in Congress across the country who are up to this challenge, who can look at this technology, face it down, and say, here's how we're going to regulate it, here's how we're going to fix it. The tech companies, they're already positioned. We saw this from the second inauguration of Trump, where right on the dais, right alongside him, were the CEOs of the top tech companies. We see it playing out in the economy right now. The largest company in the world is NVIDIA at $4 or $5 trillion, and all the other tech companies are right behind it. They're dumping so much capital expenditure into the development of AI. AI is right now the only thing holding up the stock market. Like, we're seeing all the signs in front of us. We don't need to guess or pretend. The fact that none of the other candidates are even acknowledging this, much less speaking to it, is just political malpractice on its face. But it should be a red flag to any voter who cares about where the society is heading, who cares about the future of their children, or who cares about how their elderly parents are going to be cared for. There is no policy debate that is not also a policy debate about artificial intelligence. And if you don't get that, you should not be in this race.
Well, that's the opinion of Dr. Karl Morris, and he's trying to put in position for all of us to hear the importance of living in this world with artificial intelligence. He's a scientist. I'm Jay Bagley. I run Skylark Motion Incorporated, which is drones, which is AI. I also have RunLink Stem Cell, which is AI, and I'm presenting it to the kids. So I'm part of your march, and I support what you do. And for those of you who may not understand what we've been talking about, play it again. Thank you, Dr. Karl Morris. It's a pleasure. And maybe we could meet again one day.
I would like that.
And good luck in your campaign.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. How many minutes is that?
Thank you, gentlemen. That was good.
Thank you.
And you may want to get your area down there in your district.
Yeah.
Get that film.
Oh yeah, pushing it out, yeah. And you know, I guess for me, it's all canvassing now. So I'm getting signatures, but even without that, I'm walking around just talking to people because
Right. Okay. Stream it.